Nope. Unmute. You're still muted.
Now, can you hear me?
We can.
Phenomenal. Hi, everybody. How beautiful people. My name is Hector, and I am a real alcoholic. Thank you, Jay, for asking me to speak. I love AA. I really, really love AA. I'm going to give you some personal information. I'm in my 46 years of sobriety. My sponsor is Luther W. He has 52 years of sobriety. I have a home group. I sponsor people. I pray and meditate. And I don't do this because I'm spiritual or wonderful. I do this because I don't want to die from the disease. Okay? So AA is not my life, but AA is my first priority in my life. Okay? I also have a life outside AA. I was born in Argentina 80 something years ago. I'm not going to tell you my age. I'm very vain. I don't want anybody to know how old I am, okay? Anyway, in Argentina, we were very, very, very poor. We had no running water, dirt floors, and no bathroom. An outhouse with smelly piss on the floor. And somehow I saw pictures of you, wonderful American people, in the magazines. And I said, when I grow up, I'm going to go to that place. And all those magazines were in Technicolor. My life was in black and white. And guess what? Guess what? Oh, my parents were very, very violent, but I didn't know I was an abused child until I came to AA. Here they give you all kinds of problems, you know. My mom used to chain me to a sewing machine. It was nothing personal. She also chained my kid sister and the dog. She was an equal opportunity chainer, okay? And my father was also very violent, so I did not like either one of them. And guess what? When I was 24, I came to America. And by the way, I came here legally, okay? So don't get any funny ideas. And now I'm an American citizen, and I just don't like or love this country. I adore the United States of America. And I know. Do you know why I know? Because I visited 21 countries. I spoke in many of them, you know, and this is the best place on earth. Thank you, God, and thank you, people. Anyway, when I came here, I worked in advertising, and I had some sort of talent, drawing talent, and I had a little apartment, one-room apartment. It was $87 a month, you know. And I worked real, real hard. And since I had no friends, I saved money. And guess what? When I had a year and a half in this glorious country, I saved enough money to go to Europe. And I was there for 4 months, and I visited 9 countries. And that changed my life. That changed my life. I saw all the great painters, the cathedrals, the art, and everything. And when I came back, I was a little different. I was not the hick boy from a little town in Argentina anymore. I had certain, desires. And they told me in order to socialize, you had to drink. You had to go to a bar. I've never been to a bar, so I'm very well prepared. I rehearse how to order the drink in front of the mirror because when I go there, I want it sounds really like I've always been. So for half an hour, like a moron, I stood in front of the mirror and said, "Whiskey, please. Could I have a whiskey, please? Whiskey." So I walk into this bar, very shishi bar in downtown New York. I'm in New York, right? And I said, "Whiskey, please." And he can say, blah, 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 blah. He was asking me with soda on the rocks or whatever, like whiskey. So finally, he put a shot glass in front of me. I said, "Why does he give me such a little glass? Is it because I'm short? Or maybe this is the first, I didn't know, like a moron." So I swallowed the whole thing. And oh, God, I almost died. And this guy, tall guy says in Spanish, "¿Por qué no prueba Cuba Libre?" Easy to Cuba Libre, rum and coke. And I loved it. From then on, I drank everything with Coca-Cola, whiskey and coke, vodka and coke, whatever. You see, I did not like drinking. But when I drank, I was tall, I was good looking, and I even spoke perfect English, okay? So that's what I really, really, really drank. Any drink that had a flower or something inside the drink, that one I like. And I began, right away, I became an alcoholic, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. And I had now a nice apartment and a new apartment too, and I have room apartment with view of Manhattan, and I became an alcoholic, and I would be very drunk, and I would crawl around my apartment asking God to kill me, and I don't know why. I don't know. You told me why when I came here. You said I was looking for a material solution to a spiritual problem. And you told me nothing that I see with my eyes can fix my inside. Not the relationship, not the car, not the diamonds, not the bank account. The solution is on page 45 of this book. Lack of power. That was our dilemma. Well, that's exactly what this book is about, it says. That's what this book is about, is to help you find a power greater than yourself that will solve your problem. I did not know that, and I kept drinking, and I began having, my suicide attempts, and I had the first one and the second one. I know what I'm going to do. If I become an actor and everybody loves me, I'm going to be happy. I became an actor, and I did a TV commercial, 3 commercials, 4 commercials. Hector, anybody does commercials. Even Joe Namath does commercials. You had to do theater. And God said, okay, schmuck, I'm going to give you a play. And he gave me a play. And we went to Broadway. And it became the best play of the year. We won the Tony, which is the Oscar in the theater. And I still crawling around my apartment, tried to kill me. And I was not unhappy. I was not happy. I know it was going to fix me if I moved to Hollywood. And then that would be a very spiritual, serene place, right? So I moved to Hollywood, and I took a taxi from the airport to my little hotel, and I saw a pickup truck in front of me with a sign in the back that said, "Go ahead, drink, honk again. I'm reloading." And I said, this place is not so friendly, okay? So, and I went to Hollywood. I became an actor, and I was a Latino actor with black, with a black afro and a big mustache. And I did a lot of TV shows. I was always playing bad guys. I was molesting women, but, pimping women, smuggling dope, selling all kinds of things. And, I hated it because I always wanted to look, to be a wasp. That was my dream, to be a wasp. And I had this black afro and a big mustache. No matter how I dressed or looked, I always looked like a Mexican yuppie, So I kept getting the same roles. And eventually I had a role to go to someplace, what was it, Arizona, to do a movie, okay? And I'm going to be a good guy, and I'm going to save the girl. I'm not going to have sex with the girl, but I'm going to save the girl. Hey, it's better than anything else, right? So I get to Arizona, and they put me on top of a horse. God, I hate horses. I don't give a shit if you like them. I don't like horses, okay? And they put me on top of the horse. If you do it properly, this is tick, 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 nice. When I do it, it's like, oh, the director had a heart attack. Why did you lie, Hector? We asked you, can you ride a horse? Okay. So they make me practice for 4 hours. And then we do the scene, right? They give me a gun and says, Hector, shoot in the air. Don't shoot down. Shoot in the after you're galloping. I'm drunk. So the horse goes, boom. I shot a wrangler in the ass. Oh, he got really upset, okay? So we're going to do a retake. I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not stupid. I pointed a gun down. Boom. Oh, my God, I shot my leg. So they rushed me to the hospital, and I almost died, and I was there for like a week. And they That was my last suicide attempt before the other one. And anyway, I was always really, really unhappy. I was always really unhappy, and I did not know why, you know. And anyway, my shrink that I was seeing said, Hector, you know, I think you have a problem with the alcohol. What? Look at me. I'm in a three-piece suit from Brooks Brothers, okay? I'm driving a Mercedes. How can I be an alcoholic? Hector, you have 4 suicide attempts. The last one, they had to revive you. Okay, go. And I went to this place, Charlie's place, and it was dark and seedy. I said, oh, no, 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 no. I said to my shrink, listen, it's dark and seedy. I said, Hector, there's 1,700 meetings in LA now. Now it's about 4,000. Go to another one. And I went to one in Los Feliz, which is a nice neighborhood. And there I was with all these people. Somebody was playing the piano, said, this looks like a musical. Maybe I belong here. And that was 45 years and 3 months ago. And then I began working the steps. At the beginning, you know, I did not like AA. I really, for the first 8 months, but you know why I kept coming back? You would not know this. Because I always was so isolated. When I went to a meeting, people hugged me. Some people kissed me on the cheek. They always say, come back. They were so kind. They were so understanding, you know? So I stayed. It cost me what it was very, very difficult at the beginning. I remember when I went to my first meeting, this lady was at the door. I said, Hector, I had done a show with her for NBC, and it was such a violent scene that they cut it out of the show. And welcome, Hector, welcome. And she got me by my hand and he introduced me to people. I thought she was an idiot. Why are you doing this, right? And she sat me in the front row. And he said, when they say newcomers, you get up and you say, Hector, alcoholic. Are you crazy? Hector, alcoholic. So I got up with Hector, alcoholic, and I sat down. And this guy behind me began massaging my shoulders. And I began to cry. I didn't think I was worthy of that kind of gentility and love, you know. I've been isolated so much. And I began, you know, with the steps. I had a great deal of difficulty with God. I really had, because I come from a religion that God is a punishing God. And the wonderful thing in Alcoholics Anonymous, this is a loving God, a loving God. And one of the things that I do with when I do it with somebody, when I'm sponsoring somebody, you know, for the thing of God, I give them all the names of all the names that God has in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is about 24 of them. And I ask them to really write a description for each name. And after I said to them, now, do you understand God? No, I still don't, but at least you know the qualities that your God has, okay? So anyway, I used to go to 1 or 2 meetings, and now in my 46 years of sobriety, I go 5 of them. Okay? And I pray and meditate a lot longer because now the price you pay when you break the spiritual laws is higher. Before, when I told somebody to go F themselves, yeah, you deserve that. Now, oh my God, I use a foul language. Now the price we pay when we, you know, break a spiritual law is much, much higher. I had to be much more, you know, careful with what I say and what I do. My life got larger than life that it was before. I have a gorgeous home, okay? I have an apartment by the beach in Argentina. I've spoken all around the country in 10 countries outside the United States. I thought people were crazy. I can hardly speak English. Why do you send me to speak at these meetings, you know? I never understood it, but I did it, You see, I never questioned. I did it. I really did it. At the beginning, as I said, I did not work the steps. It took me more than a year. And my second sponsor, he really forced me to work the steps. Hector, if you want to change, these are the tools. Just going to meetings, you're just a tourist in AA. Okay? You're just a visitor. We have to really have really a program of action. The book says action, action, and more action. It doesn't say visiting, visiting, more visiting. Okay? So that's what we began to do. And I remember the first step is, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Isn't that gentle, the definition? We admitted we were powerless over alcohol. We don't have to admit, I don't have to admit that I was an idiot with the stupid ideas, that I was violent, that I really caused a great deal of pain to my family, that sometimes I didn't show up when I was show up. I don't have to admit all that. I have to admit that I'm powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. And then there are the 20 questions that from, I think it's Harvard University. So I asked the guy that I sponsored to do that. Also, I asked them to write 12 unmanageable actions that they did when they were drinking. So at the end of that exercise, now you can see that your life was unmanageable. Okay? Can you see it? Okay, so that's the first step. Then came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Isn't it interesting? It doesn't say came to believe that God, okay, no, this came to believe that a power greater than ourselves. And I come from a religion that the God that we had was really a punishing God. I know I was going to hell, okay? That was but this loving God that we have in AA is a loving God. And what does the book says, what does the book about God? It says, our ideas did not work, but the God idea did. And it also says, God is everything or else is nothing. And it also says, even though it was impossible for any of us to fully understand this God, this entity that we call God, whatever concept we have of God that works for us is okay. And I just told you before, there are 20 or 25 names with capital letters in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I give them the list and they have to write a definition of that God. The third step is made a decision to turn our will and our lives over care of God as we understood him. What the hell is my will? What the hell is my life? You taught me. My will is my thoughts. My life is a sum total of my actions. Okay? And you taught me also, as a man thinketh in his mind, so is he. And the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous says the main problem of the alcoholic centers in his mind rather than his body. So, and I came to believe myself, the thoughts are things, the clothes you're wearing, the place you're sitting on, the articles in your home, they all started with a thought, as within, as without. So, unless I change the way I'm thinking, I will not stay sober. Okay? What is my life? My life is the sum total of my actions. I think Emerson, the great American philosopher, said, your action speaks so loud, I cannot hear what you're saying. And the book agrees with that. It says action, action, and more action. It doesn't say thinking, thinking, and more thinking. Okay? So, but the fourth is made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. I see. It's a moral inventory. The disease, alcoholism, is not a moral issue. It's a sickness. but the inventory is moral. So what the hell is moral? So I looked it up in the dictionary. Has to do with values of right and wrong. So what I have to do is make a list of all the things that I did wrong. Okay, and I think people have a great deal of discussion about. I think Bill Wilson used cognitive defects and our wrongs or something in the 12 steps, and they asked him why you use two words, because he said using the same word twice would be bad English. Okay, but in certain meetings they have long discussions about the difference of these two words. So I did my inventory. Because I was a very isolated person, it was a very, very short inventory. It was not very long, okay? And I've done some inventory work after, in 46 years of sobriety. But the first one was with my, my sponsor, Ralph. And I had been to 3 or 4 shrinks, so I had spoken about everything. And I said to him, okay, you know, I don't have to do it. I mean, I've been with 4 shrinks, so I talked about everything. This is different, Hector. This is different. With your shrink, you find something this month, you find some, oh, wow. And you find something else 2 months later, and maybe a year later, you find something else. But when you do the reading of the inventory, it's all in one take. It's a very, very sacred moment, because that person, the sponsee, is going to reveal all the worst things that he or she did in her life. Okay? And I always advise people, when you go to hear an inventory, make sure you talk only 20% and they talk 80%. That's their moment, okay? And and I've heard, you know, quite a few inventories in a long time, and I sponsor a lot of people in a long time. And I also have done spiritual retreats here in the country and outside the country. And because I love so much the spiritual way of life, I also became an ordained minister, and I wrote a book, Spiritual Recovery, okay? And I have a PhD in metaphysics. I did all that because I love the spiritual way of life. I love AA, and I love teaching. You know what I mean? And by the way, we're all teachers. Everybody right now in this place, in this screen, is a teacher. And we don't teach by what we say or how we dress. It's by our actions that people really learn from us, okay? That's what Emerson said. Your actions speak so loud, I cannot hear what you're saying. And then we come to 6. Yeah, we came ready to have God remove everything. Almost nobody is ready. I wasn't ready to have God remove certain things, you know, but it doesn't matter. I asked God to really remove all my character defects. And by the way, the 12 and 12 says most of our character defects will be removed, but with some of them, we have to be content with improvement. That's in 12 and 12. So we got on our knees, and I humbly asked God to remove my shortcomings, you know, my shortcomings. And now we come 8 and 9, made a list of what person we had harmed, and became willing to make amends of them all. So I had to make a list. I didn't want to make a list, and I didn't want to really make amends to certain people, including my mom and dad. And I'm going to talk about that, okay? I detest it. I made the list. And I remember before, when I drove to my sponsor, Ralph, to read my 5th step, I said, if he laughs at this, I'm going to punch him in the mouth. If he makes any remarks about this, I'm walking out, okay? And I said, after I read it, I said, Ralphie, you always say you love me. Not that you hear all this crap I did. Do you still love me? And this is his answer. Now I love you more, Hector. Now you don't have to pretend to be perfect. Wow, wow, wow. So we'll come to 8 and 9. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. And I'm reading the steps because at 80 something, sometimes some of my memory is gone. Okay. So anyway, made direct amends to such a people, whatever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Oy vey. Anyway, I began making amends, and I had stolen a raincoat from a very famous store. And I said, do I send a check? No, you send it with a letter saying that you stole it. That I cannot say I stole it. I would say I took a raincoat and I didn't pay for it. The amount was $175. So I sent the letter. I'm not going to tell you the store. And they didn't answer. And I said to my sponsor, oh, they didn't answer. You see, I don't have to pay it. No, Hector, you still have to pay. You're going to donate that to AA. Okay. Oh, so I had to pay that thing to I donated $175 to AA. Now I talked about my parents. I detested them. I did not like them. They were illiterate. They were violent. And they smell even worse. We didn't have a bathroom. I would never be caught dead walking with them on the streets. So I sent a ticket to my mom in Argentina. She had never been on a plane. She was born in Italy, but she came by ship to Argentina. And she landed in LA, had an apartment. And I had a 14 feet tall Christmas tree decorated in her favorite colors, pink and red. And she had 33 presents underneath the Christmas tree. It took me 2 weeks to wrap them up. And I told my mom how much I loved her. And I thanked her for sending me to drawing classes and for sending me to 12 years of school. My father wanted me to be a delivery boy with only 6 years of school. And I never, ever, ever mentioned what she did wrong. And I was an actor, and I was filming many, many shows on TV, and I took it with me, and she came with me. She had the best time of my life, her life. And I never mentioned what she did wrong, okay? And she came back 3 years later with one of my sisters. So I bought them both a ticket. They both came to my apartment in Los Angeles. I didn't have my house as yet. And I gave them the greatest time in the entire lives, okay? And they had a great, and that relationship was healed. And I didn't forgive my mom for her. I forgave my mom because of me. Because resentment is #1 killer. And somebody says something else. I said, hate is too strong an emotion to be wasted on somebody you don't like. And I realized that when mom died, passed away, my heart was 12, very much at peace. While I was here, I sent her a check for 20 years to help her. But my father was a little different. I did not like him. He didn't have manners. He spoke terrible Spanish. And he was very violent, physically violent. But my sponsor said, why don't you make an inventory about you and your dad? And I found out that I acted in about 14 different ways exactly with like my father. That which you hate, you shall become. And I did not know. He had moved to Syria. He was living there with a different wife and different children. And I flew to Syria, a very, very poor country, and everybody's dying of fear. And he took me to the little village where he grew up. He grew up like a little animal, like a sheep. He never went to school. He never learned anything. You see, love is like any other subject. Unless somebody loves you, caresses you, hugs you, and kisses you, you don't know how to do it somebody else. Nobody did it to him. And all the pictures I have with him, he's always leaning away from me. I thought it was me, but I saw pictures of him with the new kids he had. He's also leaning away from them. He didn't know how to love. And I spent 8 days with him. And I talked to him. And we had a nice conversation. And I photographed him. And I taped him. And at the airport, I said, Dad, I'm very, very happy and thankful that you were my dad. Thank you for being my dad. And he said, no, 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 son. 100 times more thanks to you for coming to my little village. That's the most beautiful present anybody in the world could have given me. Now I can die in peace. And guess what? A few months later, he passed away. And that relationship was healed because I forgave my father. Not for him, but for me. For me. Now I don't have hate for him. And I can remember certain little times in our life when we had a good time. Okay? So that's how I worked 8 and 9. 8 and 9. I had others, I was very violent because my father was very violent, and I became a minister, as I said to you. But once, somebody gave me the finger on Hollywood Boulevard, I get out at a stop sign, I get out of my car with my baseball bat, and he had to run through the red light with the car, otherwise I'd kill him. That's how spiritual I was before I came here, okay? So I had a horrendous, just like my father, a horrendous temper. Now I rarely raise my voice, and when I do it, I say, "Oy vey, Hector, that's horrible." Okay, so my life has changed. So I did 8 and 9. The 10, continue to take personal inventory. When we're wrong, we promptly admitted it. Did you notice there are the 12 steps that don't have a chapter about them? It's when we were wrong, not when they were wrong. You see? And they always come and talk to me about the relationship. Do you know what she's doing? Do you know what he's doing? And I said, there's 8 billion people in the world, and you chose her, and you chose him. You know what I mean? The one who has to change is not her or you. And also somebody taught me in the program, men don't get what they want. Women don't get what they want either. Men don't get what they want. They get what they are. Okay? So it's like you say in English, birds of a feather flock together. Okay? So you want to find a nice, loving, peaceful little girlfriend, become that. Mahatma Gandhi said it best. Whatever you desire, first become it. I did not know that. Okay? So we attract what we are. Okay? And I think Chuck C, because we talk so much about relationship, and Chuck C said, you, referring to the other person, boyfriend or girlfriend, you cannot make me happy. You can add to my happiness, but you cannot make me happiness. Okay? And I did not know that. Okay, you see, 50% of all marriages in America end up in what? Divorce. So that's a precarious source of happiness if she or he is going to make you or me happy. Okay, and I did not know that. Okay, so that's 10. Now, so through prayer and meditation to improve, and that's the key word. That means, assumes that to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Oh, my friend, what's his name? Harvey, um, says, prayers talking to God. And when you hear the voice of God talking back to you, it's called schizophrenia. Okay. So you should have Harvey speak for you. See, we pray, we don't pray for things. The human cannot tell the divine what I need. Okay. We pray only for guidance, for intuition, for direction. And then we go into the silence. Why silence? Because silence is the language of God. That's why somebody said 5,000 years ago, be still and know that I am God. Be still. It doesn't say drive around in BMW, eating your sandwiches, looking at a phone and know that I am God. No, Hector, be still. You know, silence is the language of God. When I'm really empty of myself, then perhaps I will hear the still small voice of God. And I did not know that. And I meditate. I don't meditate for like half an hour and half an hour. No, 12 minutes, 4 minutes in the morning. Okay. And don't tell any newcomer you have to meditate half an hour in the morning and half an hour. No. Meditate for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But do it for 90 days. Just once, sit down for 3 minutes quietly and close your eyes and listen. That's all. You see, consistency is more important than size. It's better if you meditate only for 2 minutes every day for 90 days than you meditate 1 hour every week. Consistency is more important. And I did not know that. And we cannot always, when we pray, we don't pray for things. I remember when I bought my house, I said, God, I don't know if I deserve a house. I don't know, you know, but I'm going to deposit this $1,000 in this bank. If you tell me, you know, see if I, you know, if I really can't get my house. Within, I think 6 or 7 months, I had a down payment. See, God said yes. And I saw like 40 houses before I bought my beautiful home that I have now. So, okay, and now we come to my favorite step. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message, AA message, not Hector's message, to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. I love when I do the spiritual, the spiritual workshops. I really have done it in various places from Hawaii to Iceland, okay? It's something that I really love to do. It's a care, and it's wonderful that they love me or you love me. It's phenomenal, but it's infinitely much more important that I love you. Why is that? I was taught. The same with prayer. It's good to pray for our family and friends, but it's infinitely much more important. I pray for the people I hate and I don't like. It's much more important. And why is more important that I love you than you loving me? Because the only healing love is the love I give you. Okay? That's why the book says, when everything else fails, it doesn't say go out and buy another Ralph Lauren suit, does it? Or buy a new car, okay? No. When everything fails, go and find somebody to care for, to love, to really work with them. I'm working with 2 people now. Oh, very. And this kid is, pain in the butt, you know, that's responsive. It's exactly like me. He knows everything. Whatever I try to say, he has an answer. Shut up and listen, you know. But, you know, I love really see the progress. And only in only 100 days, he's changed so much. And also he got a second job to be able to pay for his expenses. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. And in life, you know, I'm old. I'm old. And old age is not for sissies, okay? I cannot do the same things I did when I was 40. But I have a big house, you know. I grew up without a bathroom. I had an outhouse with a hole in the middle. And now I have 3 bathrooms, you know, a house with 3 bathrooms. But you can do poo-poo only in one of them at the time. So it's totally useless. So, but, you know, I have a great, great life. But I also know that this beautiful house and all the things I've done as an actor, that doesn't heal me. That doesn't heal. I have a gerontologist says, your doctor cannot heal you. Dr. Kildare is dead. And he's right. My doctor, he can teach me what to do to be healed, but I have to do the work. My sponsor can show me what to do, okay? But I have to do it. I have to do it. And again, AA is not my life. It's my #1 priority. Yeah, but it's my way of life. Here in AA, I learned how to be a responsible people, a correct people, to have manners, okay, to dress properly, to be kind. And also when I go to the gym, no matter if I there for 45 minutes, I was not nice to at least 3 people there, I failed. I'm not there just to develop my muscles, but also to work my program. Okay? And this
5
is,
minutes.
thank you. And I'm going to finish before 5 minutes. And when I go to the supermarket, the same with the cashiers, you know. So this is, have a nice day, you know, you have a wonderful day. You deserve it. Okay? So, and I do that, you know, I don't know, maybe it's old age, but when I meditate, my word that I use is peace. Peace. I want peace. I don't want to change the world anymore. I don't be the greatest at anything. I did a biography with 340 of my pictures, you know, my family, my friends. It's a love letter to America, you know. And wow, my sponsor said, what a great life this guy had. And I didn't realize I did until I saw it. Who gave me the life? Alcoholics Anonymous. Who is Alcoholics Anonymous? You are Alcoholics Anonymous. And my shrink who sent me here says, loving people have healing faces. You people have healing faces. You introduced me to Hector. That's the spiritual life. It says the spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. And that's what the book says. The spiritual life is a journey between the Hector I create based on fear, we thought a piece of garbage who has nothing, who is nothing, to the Hector that God created based on love, who's whole and complete, and the gift is already given to him. Be gracious enough to receive it. You're wonderful. God bless you, and I love you.